Your market moves in days. Your approvals move in weeks. And that gap is where your profit dies. Not in the big strategic mistakes, in the tiny delays you keep calling being careful. One extra meeting, one more round of comments, one more spreadsheet that nobody reads. Consensus starts to look like alignment, but it is often just avoidance with nicer language. You end up collecting more data and getting less clarity. The fix is not more process. It is removing friction where decisions get stuck. Moving to slide 2. Most slow decisions come from 5 causes, and each one needs a system, not a speech. 1. Nobody actually owns the decision. 2. Success is vague, so everyone argues from personal preference. 3. Information search turns into an endless scavenger hunt. 4. Fear of blame creates loops because people want cover, not outcomes. 5. Execution uncertainty delays commitment because teams cannot picture the first week after yes. If you try to solve these with reminders and meetings, you will keep paying the same tax. If you build systems that force clarity early, speed becomes normal without becoming reckless, and it starts with naming who is on the hook. Moving to slide 3. Cause 1 is no DRI, no directly responsible individual. When responsibility is shared, ownership disappears. Approval chains keep growing because every stakeholder wants a veto, not a job. Meetings turn into decision theater where everyone performs concerns to stay safe, and the outcome drifts toward the default, which is usually doing nothing or repeating last quarter. When something finally breaks, you escalate up the org chart and call it urgency, but it's really delayed thinking. Fixing this is not about being tough. It is about making the decision legible. One owner, clear inputs, clear reviewers, and a deadline that means something. Once ownership is explicit, the rest gets dramatically easier to automate. Moving to slide 4. An AI decision router removes the guesswork. It classifies the decision type, suggests the DRI based on domain and past ownership, and drafts a simple RACI in minutes. It routes the request to the right reviewers instead of everyone, sets a time box, and applies escalation rules when the clock runs out. You stop negotiating the process every time, and you start making decisions like a machine that knows where work should go. Ownership becomes the default, not the exception. Moving to slide 5. Cause 2 is vague success. If there is no shared win condition, debates never end, because nobody is debating the same thing. Metrics get chosen after the argument, which means the argument was never about outcomes. It was about identity and preference. I don't like it shows up dressed as strategy. Teams talk past each other because one person is optimizing revenue, another is optimizing risk, and a third is optimizing workload, all without saying it. The biggest tell is that risk is never priced. If nobody can state the trade-off in numbers or thresholds, you cannot decide. You can only negotiate. Clear criteria turns disagreement into a solvable comparison, and it sets up the next system perfectly. Moving to slide 6. Before you compare options, you need criteria that cannot wiggle. A criteria builder takes your intent and turns it into measurable metrics, like cost per user, time to deploy, risk to uptime, or lift in retention. Then it forces trade-offs. If you want speed and lowest cost, you have to say what you are willing to give up, like flexibility or custom reporting. Next, it drafts a decision scorecard and assigns weights by role because finance, security, and the team doing the work do not value the same things. Finally, you lock the criteria before anyone pitches solutions. That one move prevents the classic game where the best option is whichever doc sounds most confident. Clarity up front beats debate later, especially when information starts to sprawl. Moving to slide 7. Info chaos is when your evidence is everywhere, and none of it is in the right place at the right time. A key metric lives in a slide deck. The risk note is in a ticket comment. The customer quote is in chat. So search turns into endless research, and the latest doc beats the best doc because it is easier to find. Then context gets lost in handoffs. One team summarizes another team's findings, and the nuance disappears. Conflicts stay unresolved, So you end up carrying two numbers for the same thing, hoping nobody asks which is real. When evidence is scattered, decisions stop being about judgment and start being about scavenger hunts. You do not need more documents. You need answers that bring their receipts. Moving to slide 8. An evidence concierge is an AI layer that sits over your tools and treats them like one library. Instead of keyword search, you ask in plain language, and it returns the best matches by meaning across docs, tickets, wikis, spreadsheets, and call notes. The key is that every answer auto-cites its sources. You can open the exact paragraph, cell, or comment it came from, so you are not trusting a summary. It also detects conflicting numbers fast. If one doc says churn is 3.2% and another says 4.1%, it flags the mismatch, shows where each number came from, and highlights what changed, like date range, cohort, or definition. When it summarizes, it includes uncertainty flags. You will see what is well supported versus what is a guess, and what evidence is missing. Then it assembles a decision-ready brief. The top findings, disagreements, dependencies, and open questions, all linked back to sources. That does not remove judgment. It removes the fog that lets fear and politics fill the gap. Moving to slide 9. Blame fear shows up when misses are punished more than bad process. People delay calls, keep options open, and hoard ambiguity because commitment creates personal risk. Decision logs do not exist, so later everyone rewrites history. Retrospectives turn into trials where the goal is to find a culprit, not improve the system. So escalation replaces accountability. Instead of a clear owner making a call with documented reasoning, decisions drift upward until they are too expensive to change. If you want faster, better decisions, you have to make it safe to be wrong for the right reasons. That safety comes from recording how you decided, not just what happened. Moving to slide 10. A decision ledger is a lightweight record that gets created as you decide, not after. It auto-captures the assumptions you made, like adoption rates, engineering effort, vendor reliability, or regulatory risk. It records your rationale and links the evidence you used, so nobody has to reconstruct it from memory. It also tracks expected outcome ranges, not a single promised number. You write what success looks like, what would be acceptable, and what would trigger a reversal. Then it schedules a clean post-mortem in advance, while emotions are still hypothetical. Most important, it separates process from outcome. A good decision can still miss, and a lucky decision can still be reckless. When you judge the process, you get better without getting defensive. And when execution gets messy, you still know what you meant to do. Moving to slide 11. You know this feeling. A decision gets made, everyone nods, and then the work gets weirdly blurry. No one can point to the owner for the next action. Dependencies stay hidden until you are already blocked. Done means 5 different things to 5 different people. Then, when reality hits, the team discovers the decision was not reversible, or at least nobody planned how to unwind it. Execution fog is not laziness. It is missing structure. If you want clean follow-through, you need the decision to immediately become a small set of commitments. Who does what, by when, using which inputs, with a clear finish line and a rollback path. Clarity is not a meeting. It is a system that turns intent into work. Moving to slide 12. Here is the simplest AI use case that actually changes outcomes. Take the decision and force it into a plan. You feed the AI a short decision brief. It converts that into tasks, with an owner and a deadline per task, not the team. It asks for missing details until each task is actionable. Then it surfaces hidden dependencies early, like approvals, data access, vendor lead times, and cross-team handoffs. Before anyone starts, it drafts risks and a rollback plan. What could fail? How you will detect it quickly. What you will revert and who has authority to call it. Finally, it generates a first-week checklist, so momentum is automatic. Plans do not create accountability. Moving to slide 13. The real power comes when these tools stop living in separate tabs and start sharing the same objects. You begin with one intake. A decision request comes in as a brief, not a slide deck. That brief becomes the shared source of truth. From that single object, you generate multiple outputs: a plan, a stakeholder update, a risk register, and the decision log entry. Do not run this through email threads. Keep shared objects that everyone can reference, comment on, and version. When someone asks, "Why are we doing this?" you point back to the brief and the evidence, not a forwarded message. Then you add a scorecard. The scorecard is not decoration. It drives evidence pull. If the scorecard says success equals retention plus support load, the system automatically asks for the exact metrics, time windows, and baselines needed to judge the decision. A lightweight ledger gets fed by those briefs, so every decision has a record: context, options, chosen path, and the reason. N-Plans clears the loop by writing back results against the scorecard. That is how you get speed without losing memory. Moving to slide 14. Guardrails keep the system useful and safe. A human owns the final call every time. The AI can only cite approved sources, so it cannot invent policy or metrics, include a red team prompt to challenge assumptions, then run quick bias and drift checks so outputs do not quietly degrade over time. Finally, control access by sensitivity, because not every decision belongs in every inbox. Moving to slide 15. Start small, so you actually ship. Pick one decision category, like pricing exceptions, hiring backfills, or roadmap trade-offs. Measure cycle time weekly, from request to signed decision, so you can see improvement without debating feelings. Require briefs, not decks. A one-page brief forces clarity and makes the AI's output tighter. Limit reviewers by default, because too many approvers creates fake safety and real delay. When you ship with decision logs. Every decision gets a timestamp, owner, inputs, and expected outcome. That one habit turns "we thought" into "we learned," and it makes the next decision cleaner before it even starts. Moving to slide 16. Before you move on, use this next decision fix. Name the DRI now, so one person owns the call. Lock success criteria first, so you do not drift. Demand a brief with cited evidence, not opinions. Write assumptions in a ledger, so you can test them fast and update without ego. Then generate a first-week plan, with dates, owners, and the smallest measurable outcome. If you do this, you stop debating and start executing. If this helped, subscribe for more, and comment with the decision you are making this week and your success criteria in one sentence. The best AI system begins with better thinking.